The frontier medical station floated alone between dead stars and broken trade routes. It was a place where ships came only when they had no other hope. Metal walls carried old screams. Lights flickered like tired eyes that had seen too much on this day. The station received an emergency craft drifting without power. Inside. It was one passenger. She was not human. Her name was Lyra single quotes, ETH. She lay on a stretcher now, surrounded by alien doctors of many species. Her body was tall and thin, skin smooth like polished stone, chest rising unevenly. Blood-dark fluid stained the padding beneath her. The problem was not the wound on her side. The problem was what her body had done because of it. Her species, the Valori, were known across the galaxy for one terrifying trait. When they felt extreme pain or fear, their bodies sealed themselves completely. Openings closed. Passages locked. Even internal access points shut tight to protect vital organs. It was an ancient survival instinct, and it was killing her. The opening near her chest, used by Valori to regulate pressure and oxygen, was sealed shut. Not damaged, not scarred, simply closed, like it had never existed. The scanner showed her lungs filling with trapped gas, pressure building, organs slowly failing. An alien doctor stepped back, voice shaking. "We cannot access it. It is fully sealed." Another whispered, "Once closed this way, it never opens again." The room fell silent. They had advanced tools, surgical lasers, molecular keys. None of them worked. The seal rejected every method as if her own body was refusing the universe. Time was running out, and fear was winning. At the back of the room stood a human. He was not a doctor. His name was Aaron Hulle. He was a maintenance engineer, ship breaker, emergency responder when no one else was available. His hands were rough, scarred, hands that had pulled people from fire and metal. He had been watching quietly. Watching her face. Lyra's eyes were open, wide, aware. She was conscious enough to know she was dying. Every breath was shallow. Every second was pain. She was afraid. Aaron recognized that look. He had seen it in miners trapped underground, in pilots pinned inside crushed cockpits, in children after earthquakes. It was the look of someone whose body had decided the world was over. He stepped forward. Alien eyes turned to him. "What are you doing, human?" One asked sharply. Aaron swallowed. I think she's locked herself shut." The doctor snapped. "We know that." "No," Aaron said softly. "Not just physically. Mentally too." The lead medic scoffed. "This is biology, not psychology." Aaron looked down at Lyra again. Her fingers twitched weakly. Her chest trembled like it wanted to breathe, but couldn't remember how. "For humans," Aaron said, "those two things are the same." The room filled with uneasy murmurs. A Valori elder arrived then, tall and silver-eyed. She took one look at Lyra and lowered her head. "She is sealed by fear," the elder said. "We have failed her." Aaron clenched his fists. "Maybe you failed because you treated her like a machine." That caused anger. Sharp words. Threats. But the elder raised a hand. "The human may speak." Aaron took a slow breath. "On my world, when someone's body locks up, we don't start cutting right away. Sometimes we just remind them they're not alone." The elder studied him. "You believe words can open what flesh is sealed?" Aaron shook his head. "Not words, presence." Silence returned. The scanners beeped faster. Lyra's heart rate spiked. The elder closed her eyes. "If we do nothing, she dies," she said. Then she looked at Aaron. "Human, you may try." Aaron stepped closer to the stretcher. He did not bring tools. He only reached out his hand. The entire room held its breath, because no one in the galaxy had ever seen a Valerie seal open once fear had closed it. And yet, Human placed his palm gently over the place where the opening used to be. And whispered, "It's okay. You're safe now." And something beneath his hand moved. The med bay was silent except for the faint hum of life support. Alien doctors hovered, tools in hand, but their eyes were wary, suspicious. Humans were unpredictable. To them, a machine was a machine, and a body was a body. But a human, they said, could do things no protocol allowed. Aaron remained calm. He did not rush. He did not speak loudly. He only kept his hand over Lirith's sealed chest opening. His touch was firm but gentle, almost like a promise. The lead medic stepped closer, folding arms. "Human," he said, "this is foolish. The opening is sealed by biology, not fear. It is not conscious. It will not respond to your empathy." Aaron did not look at him. He looked at Lirith's eyes. They were wide, glistening with tears she could not shed, showing fear and pain all at once. He recognized that silent scream. He had felt it in other lives he had touched, people trapped inside their own bodies. People waiting for someone to just see them. "I know it seems impossible," he said quietly to the room. "But sometimes a body locks up for a reason it cannot explain. And sometimes the key is not strength or tech or rules. Sometimes it's patience, presence, trust." The alien doctors muttered among themselves. Some frowned. Others shook their heads. The Valori elder watched silently, her silver eyes reflecting curiosity and doubt. Aaron began to breathe slowly, deliberately, letting his chest rise and fall in a steady rhythm. He noticed that Lirith's shallow breaths tried to match his. Instinctively, her body was listening, responding to the calm steadiness of another being. He had done this many times before with humans trapped in collapsed tunnels or pinned by machinery. He had never failed because he didn't fight the body, he worked with it. "Feel me," he whispered softly. "Just follow me. I am here. You are safe." Lirith's hands twitched, small movements at first. Her lips quivered. The sealed opening seemed to tremble beneath his hand, responding to the rhythm he created. Alien doctors leaned closer, eyes wide, watching something they had never witnessed. A human using no tool, no laser, no chemical agent-only presence was doing what their technology could not. Suddenly, a beep from the monitor spiked sharply. Lirith flinched violently, causing a sudden tightening of the seal. One of the medics gasped, "Stop! You're making it worse." Aaron did not move. He pressed a finger gently against the spot, letting the tiniest pressure speak more than words. He bent slightly closer, his voice barely audible. "I know it's hard. I know it hurts. I won't leave. Just breathe with me. One step at a time." The room held its breath. Seconds stretched into minutes. The alien doctors exchanged nervous glances. No Valori had ever responded this way before. Some shook their heads, muttering that it was impossible. Aaron ignored the murmurs. He focused on the smallest details, the rise and fall of her chest, the subtle tremor of her sealed muscles. The tiny shiver that meant she was fighting fear instead of surrendering to it. Slowly, almost imperceptibly, the seal began to loosen. A fraction, a millimeter, a whisper of motion that the monitors could barely detect. The elder leaned forward, eyebrows raised. What is this?" she asked, her voice barely a whisper. "It should not be possible." Aaron smiled faintly. "Sometimes," he said softly, "the impossible is just patience waiting for the right hands." Lirith's eyes locked onto his, fear and trust mixing in a fragile bond that no language could describe. She copied his breathing, shallow and slow at first, then gradually deeper, her body responding to the rhythm he set. The medic stepped back, unsure whether to intervene. And then, for the first time, hope flickered in the room. A human, not a machine, not a chemical, not a laser, was speaking to a body through presence alone. A connection that transcended biology, species, and fear. Aaron whispered once more, "You're not alone. I am here. Just let go a little. It's safe now." And beneath his hand, the sealed opening trembled again, this time in a way that suggested it might finally listen. The med bay seemed to shrink around them, the bright lights humming quietly above, reflecting on the pale metal surfaces. Alien doctors hovered nearby, hesitant to breathe too loudly, as if any sudden movement could shatter the fragile moment. Lirith lay still, her body tense, sealed shut as if it had forgotten how to move. Her chest rose and fell unevenly, shallow gasps betraying the struggle inside. Aaron remained calm. His hand rested gently on the sealed opening, not pressing, not forcing, just touching. It was almost as if he was listening, waiting for the faintest signal from her body. He closed his eyes briefly, tuning into the vibrations beneath his palm, the subtle shifts in muscle tension, the irregular heartbeat, the quivering breath. He had done this many times before, but never with a being so alien, so different in biology, yet so human in fear. "I know it hurts," he whispered softly, barely audible. "I know it feels impossible. But you're not alone. Just trust me." Lirith's large, luminescent eyes blinked slowly. Her limbs twitched nervously, and her tiny fingers curled against the padding beneath her. She could feel the warmth, the steadiness of another presence, unlike the cold precision of medical tools she had seen all her life. It was strange, unsettling, yet comforting. For the first time, someone was not trying to break her open. Someone was trying to understand, the alien doctors murmured among themselves. One of them, a tall figure with translucent skin, shook their head. "This is madness. She is sealed by biology. Nothing a human can do will open her." Aaron didn't respond. He continued to breathe in a slow, steady rhythm, loud enough that Lirith could hear it. He tapped his fingers lightly, mimicking a heartbeat. Small gestures, nothing intrusive. Humans could teach something invaluable, that even the most impossible doors could be opened with patience, understanding, and the courage to stay present. The room, once tense and fearful, now felt lighter. The alarms quieted completely. The impossible had been achieved. A human had done what technology, medicine, and tradition had failed to accomplish. And in that quiet moment, the galaxy seemed a little larger, a little kinder, because someone had shown that fear could be met not with force, but with care. The impossible opening was not just physical, it was proof that trust could unlock even the most sealed hearts. After the opening, the med bay was quiet in a different way, no longer tense, no longer full of alarms, but heavy with awe. Alien doctors stepped back, watching Lirith breathe normally, her body whole again, color returning to her skin. Her chest rose and fell easily, muscles relaxed, fear slowly retreating. The impossible had happened, and everyone felt it. The Valori elder approached Aaron slowly. Silver eyes, still wide, studied him. "Human," she said carefully, "how did you succeed where our science failed? What force did you use? What tools? What method?" Aaron shook his head gently, smiling faintly. "No tools, no force, no trick, just presence, patience, being here with her." The elder frowned, confused. "Presence? Patience? These are not methods of medicine or surgery. How can they open what biology seals?" Aaron knelt slightly to meet Lirith's gaze. Her eyes were still wet with tears, full of gratitude, fear, and wonder all at once. "Sometimes," he said softly, "a body locks itself not because it cannot be opened, but because it is afraid. Fear can be stronger than biology. Sometimes the key is not to fight the body, but to make it feel safe. To show it that the world is not dangerous right now. To show it that someone is there, and they will not leave. The elder looked down, her voice quiet. So, your gift is not strength, nor skill, nor technology. It is empathy? Aaron nodded. Yes, empathy, understanding, connection. Humans evolved in dangerous worlds. Storms, predators, collapsing buildings. Our bodies fail often. And we learn to survive by helping each other, by listening, by being present. We learn to notice fear before it breaks us completely. That's what opens the impossible. The younger medics exchanged glances. One whispered, "We rely on rules, protocols, and machines. Humans rely on hearts." Lirith reached out her trembling hand toward Aaron. He took it gently, holding it lightly, letting her feel the steadiness of another presence. She had survived fear that had locked her body entirely. And she knew she owed this life, not to lasers, not to medicine, not to rules, but to a human who understood her enough to wait. The elder spoke again, her voice low and reverent. "We have always believed that Valori biology is absolute, that nothing can break our seals once engaged. But you showed us another way, a way we never thought possible. Perhaps humanity carries something more than we understand." Aaron smiled faintly. "We don't always know why it works. Sometimes we just trust that being present is enough, that fear can be faced without force. And sometimes the body listens when the mind is guided gently. That's what humans can do." The medics nodded slowly. They had been trained in all known Valori techniques, in chemical agents, lasers, mechanical devices. Nothing had worked until Aaron simply waited, connected, and breathed with her. It was simple, yet revolutionary. Lirith's eyes shone. She whispered weakly, "I feel alive again. Because of you." Aaron squeezed her hand lightly. "No," he said softly, "because you trusted, even for a moment, that it could be okay. I just helped you believe it." The elder's expression softened, a mixture of respect and wonder. "Humans," she said quietly, "may not be strongest, may not have the sharpest tools, but perhaps they know how to open what fear has sealed." In that quiet medbay, the impossible had been done. Not by technology, not by force, not by science alone, but by patience, empathy, and the courage to stay present when fear tried to close every door. The galaxy had learned something new that day. Humans were not just reckless or fragile, they were capable of something profoundly rare. And Lirith, breathing freely, knew that her life had been saved in a way that no one could replicate with machines or rules. It had been saved by the human heart. The medics and the elder looked at Aaron, understanding slowly dawning. This was why humans mattered. Not for power, not for weapons, not for tools, but for the one thing that could open even the most impossible door: connection, trust, empathy. And in the silence that followed, the medbay felt warmer, lighter. Fear had been beaten, not by science, but by humanity. After the medbay had quieted, the crew and medic stood in awe, watching Lirith breathe steadily for the first time in hours. Her chest rose and fell naturally, eyes soft and filled with something that had not been there before: relief, trust, and hope. The impossible had been done, and the galaxy would never forget it. Aaron leaned back slightly, exhausted, hands still brushing lightly against hers. He did not feel like a hero. He had simply stayed, simply been present, simply waited. Yet the impact of his actions was undeniable. Alien doctors whispered to one another. Elders exchanged silent nods. And Lirith's quiet gratitude filled the room in ways words could not capture. The Valori elder stepped forward, her silver eyes glistening with emotion. "Human," she said softly, "you have done what our science, our tools, and our traditions could not. You have opened what was thought impossible. You did not force it. You did not break it. You listened. You were present. We have never seen such a thing. Aaron shook his head gently. I didn't do it alone. She did it too. She trusted. She allowed herself to be safe for the first time. Lirith managed a small trembling smile. I have never felt this, she whispered. My body, my fear. It was trapped, but you opened it without hurting me. I can breathe again. Because of you. Around them, the room seemed lighter. The alarms had ceased, the monitors steady. Alien doctors and medics stared in disbelief at the results, realizing that a human fragile, soft-handed, untrained in alien biology had accomplished what generations of their species had considered impossible. One young medic dared to ask, how can this be? Humans are humans. How can one human do what we could not? Aaron smiled faintly, voice calm. Humans survive because we connect. We listen, we stay present. We trust and help each other when fear threatens to take over. Sometimes that is stronger than any tool, stronger than any rules, stronger than anything we build. The elder studied him for a long moment, comprehension dawning slowly. So, your gift is not strength, not technology, not knowledge alone, it is humanity. Aaron nodded. Yes, being human is. Being willing to stay, to care, to trust. Sometimes that is the key. Lirith's eyes glimmered with tears. She reached out, brushing her hand against his. I will remember this, always. The room felt full then, not with science or authority, but with understanding. Every alien present realized that humans, so often underestimated, carried something rare in the galaxy. They could open what was closed, heal what was thought unhealable, reach through fear and touch trust with nothing but presence. Story of that medbay spread quickly across stations and ships. It was told and retold. The Valori who had sealed herself shut after days of fear. The human who did not fight, did not force, but simply stayed with her. And the impossible opening that changed everything. Humans were no longer just seen as reckless or fragile. They were known as the ones who could open doors the universe thought would never open. Lirith lived. And through her life, through the awe of the medics and elders, the galaxy remembered the day a human showed that empathy. Patience and trust were powers stronger than fear, stronger than walls, stronger than biology itself. And so humans were called openers, not because they broke what was closed, but because they could reach hearts, minds, and even bodies, teaching the galaxy that the greatest strength often comes from understanding. From presence, from care. And in a universe full of locked doors, fear, and impossible obstacles, that lesson echoed across stars. Humans could open the impossible, and they would always be remembered for it.